Well, welcome to the summer 2022 edition of Demo Day for the Fourthly Startup Accelerator. So as always, we had a lot of applicants for this batch, and from those applicants, we chose 10 startups to participate. And in just a minute, you're going to meet them. For the past 10 weeks, these startups have been immersed together virtually, pushing their ventures forward. These startups are from all over the world, and you're going to see 3-minute pitches from each of them. And I think you're going to enjoy it. So we founded the Fourthly Startup Accelerator 2 years ago, and this is our 6th batch of 10. And I thought maybe I'd give you a quick update on some of our alumni. Tixology is a blockchain-based ticketing system. They've raised $1.5 million in seed funding and are launching later this year, doing very well. Gilded, which is a platform for buying and selling gold, has raised several $million in capital and is now scaling globally. Elv, which is developing the next generation of wireless data, boxes that go inside of satellites. They will be shipping their very first product to customers next month. Nula, which is a platform for maternity health and prenatal health. And their platform is now live and impacting the lives of women all over the country. And finally, Locale, a marketplace for fresh, local, artisan food, has raised $14 million worth of funding from Andreessen Horowitz and is now scaling nationally. So we've had some great successes in the Fourthly Startup Accelerator. And I think you'll see in a minute that this batch is pretty damn exciting, too. But before I introduce you to this batch, I'd like to bring up Rob Mihalko. So Rob was my co-leader in this cohort. Rob's a colleague of mine at Stanford. He teaches an entire course just on digital marketplaces. And so he and I thought, well, it'd be fun if we did a cohort in the Fourthly Startup Accelerator focused just on digital marketplaces. And that is the cohort that you are about to hear from. So Rob, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Brett. How are you?
Good. So Rob, help us out here. What is a digital marketplace and why are they important?
Well, that's a great question. Actually, two questions. First of all, are you familiar with Uber, Airbnb, or DoorDash?
I've heard of them, yes.
Yes, you have heard of them. Well, these are all examples of digital marketplaces, companies that leverage the marketplace model to deliver their services. The role of a digital marketplace is to bring together 2 or more parties together on a single platform, either a website or a mobile app, for the purpose of interacting, exchanging information, and ultimately conducting a commercial transaction.
Awesome. That was a great, easy introduction. Thank you.
Absolutely. And as and your second question was, why are they important? Well, actually, for several reasons. One is they're a huge part of our everyday lives. When I teach my course, I ask my adult learners, on average, how many digital marketplaces do you interact with on a weekly basis? And the answer was 6, which comes to about 1 digital marketplace on average per day on a given week. So I thought it was pretty interesting. Secondly, digital marketplaces are a huge part of the economy today and employ millions of individuals. Just 4 marketplaces alone, eBay, Uber, DoorDash, and Upwork provide income for over 43 million companies and individuals. And lastly, digital marketplaces solve real problems in the economy today. And we're going to see examples of this later today's session, either by simply making an existing market more efficient, such as what Uber and Lyft have done in the local transportation market. B2B marketplaces do this as well. Or provide access to rare, scarce, or provide visibility into otherwise a fragmented market. eBay does this in the collectibles, StubHub with concert tickets, or increase utilization of fixed assets. Airbnb does this with in-home sharing, and manufacturing logistics marketplaces do this as well. So the digital marketplace model has really been a proven model for success for unlocking value in these and many other industries. And it's really a global phenomenon, as we're going to be see from the esteemed startup marketplaces we have here today.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing the 3-minute pitches from 10 digital marketplaces from around the world.
Absolutely.
So Rob, I'm going to let you go get a cup of coffee. I will host the first 5, and then when you're done with your coffee, we'll bring you back and you'll host the second 5. Sound like a deal?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So first up, is Solfium. So when I first met these guys, I had, my initial thought was, okay, it's great because they've got a great little business and it's helping the planet too. But then I actually kind of realized that there was something even more profound that they're doing, and that's this: that kind of home solar, residential solar, has been a first world luxury, right? It's something that American families can get and they can feel green, but it's been pretty pricey. Partly because it's a high friction kind of process. You got to find an installer, you got to buy the stuff, you got to deal with your local utility. And what these guys are doing, which Andres is going to tell you about in a second, is taking that entire process and making it much lower friction, which is a key to making this something that can break into global markets. Because the real growth opportunity for home solar is not the first world. The real growth opportunity for home solar is in the developing world. So I was pretty psyched about it when I first interviewed them. Andres, good morning.
Good morning, Brett. It's a pleasure for us to be here.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're here. So I'm just going to kind of let you take it away, Andres.
Sounds good. Well, Solfium is all about facilitating and therefore accelerating the adoption of distributed solar energy in Latin America, meaning residential, commercial, and small industrial scale. We do that through an Uber-like UX and by optimizing the value chain. Now, there's two big drivers in the market, as you were alluding to, Brett. One is net zero commitments being made by companies that now just span the whole value chain of the company. And second is the unit economics. I mean, solar is the cheapest source of energy in 75% of the world, including Latin America, where we're focused on. And that should drive adoption on its own. However, as you can see, there's still a low level of penetration in solar in Latin America. And that's in part due to the complexity driven by a big installer fragmentation. Now, that complexity leads to a lot of customers being put off. It's not easy to find a trustworthy, reputable installer. There's a lot of bait and switch pricing. There's long lead times and complexity. Arranging payments and financing isn't always easy. And there is a lot of questions around the ability of installers to support their customers throughout the life cycle of the project. So what we do is two things to solve this problem. One is to reinvent that customer experience, make it easy and frictionless with a UX that is like Uber, with an app where the customer can download it, get an instant quote based on their electricity consumption, chat with their local closest installer, understand the system, coordinate the installation, get financing options right there on their app, and have a one-stop shop where post-installation they can monitor their system, get upgrades, receive support, etc. In parallel, we solve the inefficiencies in the value chain that are driven mainly by that installer fragmentation. There's a lot of intermediaries in the market that don't add value to the end customer and also make it harder for the end customer to get post-sales support. So what we do is we structure the business and we reconfigure the ecosystem to be more like a marketplace. So we partner with manufacturers and help them deliver a product directly to the customer and be closer to the end customer to provide that aftermarket post-sale support. We also partner with installers that now gain a better way to run the business rather than their small business where they need to do a bit of everything, marketing, sales, financing, etc. Now they can focus on their core competency, which is installing. And so that optimization, bringing in the financing partners as well, makes it a lot easier for customers to adopt solar. Now, we've started and launched in Mexico last year through our first sales channel, which was referrals, and we've implemented that already. But we always saw the way to scale this up fast was through big corporate partnerships. As more and more companies are making these net zero commitments that I mentioned earlier, that creates an opportunity for us to partner with these companies and offer and help them decarbonize their value chain. So with the Solfium app, they can help their employees adopt solar at home. It's easy, it's simple. Same with their suppliers. And we're also doing their industrial installations as well to offer truly a turnkey solution for them. And we're developing the digital dashboard where they'll be able to see, monitor, and report those CO2 emissions reductions aligned with the greenhouse gas protocols. So they will be able to see and report on their scope 2 and scope 3 emissions reductions. So it's really all about decarbonizing value chains for companies. And this has caught the interest of some big players like Pepsi in Mexico, some Volkswagen suppliers, and other German and Japanese companies. We've also signed a major partnership with a state government that wants to implement distributed solar in the state, and so our business model as the best way to do it. So there's a lot of activity here. And as you see, we do have plans to continue to develop our technology, integrate more products and services, and develop a roadmap that includes both product, service expansion, and geographic expansion. That's our summary of what we're doing at Solfium.
Awesome. That's terrific, Andres. Thank you for that. So a couple quick questions that are coming in. So right now you're focused on the Mexican market. Is that right?
Yeah, it's our launch market.
And then where do you think you go from there? I mean, as you
our
once
immediate expansion plans next year include Brazil and Colombia. These are markets where the co-founders, where we have the most experience, so we've chosen sort of as a Venn diagram markets that have a lot of potential for solar, but where we have what we think are winning conditions, meaning experience, partnerships, a lot of contacts in the state, like we did in Mexico.
Right. And what do you think what's the next big milestone for Solfium, do you think?
We are we've just signed a major partnership with Engie, the French multinational, one of the largest energy players in the world, and we are starting to deploy a partnership that will lead us to potentially deploy solar in their 650,000 retail customers that they have in Mexico for natural gas. So it's extremely exciting. Between the partnership with the state government, we've had other state governments that saw that and approached us and like our model and want to start deploying that in the state, to combine with this partnership with Engie, that there's a huge market opportunity, and we're just gearing up now to start to deliver.
Excellent.
So it's very exciting.
All right, Andres, thanks very much. Congrats on all the success.
It's a pleasure. Thanks.
Okay, so folks, if you go to fourthly.com and click on the See Current Batch button, you'll see a list of all of these startups who are presenting today, a brief description of them, and then you'll also find a link to a Medium article that talks about them in more depth. So I encourage you to do that. I also encourage you to reach out directly to us at ping@fourthly.com, and we'll be happy to make introductions for you to any of the startups that you're seeing today. And last reminder, type into the chat box right now any questions that you have for Fourthly, or any questions that you have for any of our participants. Here, we're getting one in right now. Cash App is asking, where do I get the best tacos in San Francisco? Well, you're asking the right guy, Cash App. And when you come to visit, I'm going to take you to the Mission District in San Francisco. I will take you to my 3 favorite taquerias in the Mission District in San Francisco, and then you can decide which one you like best. All right, so next up, now that we've got that important question dealt with, next up is Rent Zero, and joining us is Chris and Nick. Morning, guys.
Morning, Brett.
So when I first met Nick and interviewed him for this program, first of all, he just immediately struck me as the kind of smart guy that I like working with, the kind of smart person who tends to go on to entrepreneurial success. Secondly, Nick's about the same age as my kids, and so I know firsthand, or I guess I know secondhand, that rent is expensive these days, and so I definitely understood the issue that Nick was talking about, and his proposed solution to that I thought was pretty interesting. So, Nick, take it away.
Thank you, Brett. Hello, everyone. My name is Nick Rivera. Also on the call is Chris Vargas, and we are the founders of Rent Zero. Rent Zero's mission is to help the renters of the world reduce their rent, ideally to zero. So rapidly rising rent is a huge problem. It's a national problem. Chris has experience with this, having owned multifamily units. I have experience with this as a renter myself. So we both know this problem from different perspectives, and we've keyed in on it, and we want to solve this problem. In fact, I had rent so high that I considered looking for a side job in the gig economy. And one observation we've made about the gig economy is that it's growing very fast, but we believe it can grow even faster. Every transaction in the gig world is based on trust between the worker and the buyer. With more trust and security, more transactions can take place. Would you rather a stranger do a task for you or a neighbor? So that's where Rent Zero comes in. Rent Zero creates neighbor-to-neighbor marketplaces for specific apartment buildings. These marketplaces are inherently high trust. These are neighbors you're interacting with, people you see every day, people you share the same amenities with. Rent Zero also integrates with rental payment platforms so that as you're earning money on the app, you're reducing your rent directly. So how do you reduce your rent? You can refer in a new tenant and get a bonus. You can walk someone's dog. You can give someone a ride. You can rent out your parking space while you're away. There's all sorts of examples for you to earn money, not only just earn money, but also for you to get things done as well. Rent Zero is unique because we exist in a high trust, high convenience environment. It's also important to note that our customers are property managers. We go to property managers directly, and they provide the app to their tenants. So where are we now? We've completed our MVP for iOS, and we've secured our first property manager customer, Avenue 5. We're gearing up for a beta test launch in September at 2 of Avenue 5's properties. Avenue 5 is extremely excited about Rent Zero. In fact, they want us to roll out as soon as possible because they view Rent Zero as a complete game changer for apartment life. And if things go well with our beta test, we have a clear avenue to expand to Avenue 5's 75,000 other apartments. It's also important to note that we're focused on product market fit right now, not profit just yet, but we do plan to take a transaction fee in the future, probably around 10%. We got a great team behind us. It's myself taking on the CEO role. There's Chris, lead investor in Rent Zero, executive chairman of the board, and he's also taking on a business development role for our interactions with property managers. So we're raising a seed round to complete the beta test, continue development, get an Android version out there, and complete a nationwide rollout to all of our customers' properties. So if you'd like to hear more or get a demo, please email me at nick@rentzero.io. Thank you for your time. I'll now take any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. So, so one question that somebody had is, so I think you said you're piloting in 2 properties. Is that right?
Yeah, 2 properties for 120 units total.
120 units total. And then, and where are they geographically?
So they're located here in Reno, Nevada.
Okay, great. And then what's your kind of geographic rollout plan? Are you kind of thinking about rolling out to particular geographies in a sequence, or how do you think about that?
Yeah, so Avenue 5, our customer, has 75 units across the West Coast. So that's our clear path forward going there.
Got it. And so, Chris, you're both an investor in Rent Zero, and you're also an investor in multi-unit residential properties. And so, from the property manager perspective, remind us of the kind of the benefit that you see coming out of Rent Zero, from the property manager perspective.
Yeah, Brett, they've got a problem too. They're raising rents so quickly at the direction of their property owners that there's a very adversarial relationship. I mean, tenants generally don't like to see their property management firms, and it kind of dampens a sense of community that they build.
Yeah.
So we from Avenue 5, but what they want to do is strengthen the relationship with their tenants, make it more trusted, make it more engaging, with better reviews. They live and die by Google reviews. So if they can give their tenants an app that makes them happier, they'll stay longer, turnover goes down, satisfaction goes up, and ratings go up.
Right.
And the other question that came in on how we're going to roll this out, we're going to partner with property managers. Wherever they have properties, we're going to see Rent Zero show up. So wherever the property manager has multi-families is where we'll be rolling out the apps.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Congrats on all the success.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up we have Plazabid. So let me get them up on. Oops. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button, folks. So let's get Paulo up here. Good morning, Paulo.
Hi, Red. How are you?
I'm good. And let's see if we can get Eduardo up here as well. Morning,
Hello.
Eduardo.
Good morning.
So, so just last week, the Wall Street Journal ran a article that talked about the overstock problem that many brands have right now. That we all, for a long time, we heard about the supply chain issues, and now all of a sudden, kind of the supply chain is overloaded in many cases, and
Yes.
a lot of brands have an overstock problem. And so when I first talked to these guys about Plazabid, I thought, oh, brands are going to love this. Paulo, take it away. Tell us more.
Well, this is Plazabid. It's the first auction marketplace in Peru. I am Pablo. I am the CEO. The opportunity in Peru is that did you know that in Peru half of the population has already made a purchase online? This is almost 50,000 million in here in Peru. The opportunity is that e-commerce in Peru has experienced exponential growth in the last few years. In 2021, it was worth more than $9.3 billion. The e-commerce market in Peru is expected to continue growing at a 7.5% during the following years. The problem, companies with excessive stock and low turnover products. And on the other side, consumers don't get the deals they deserve. The solution, well, we are going to have partnerships with companies to buy and consign their overstock. And on the other side, we will offer a unique shopping experience of new products with a bid or buy now to the customers. The product marketplace connecting brands with overstock to consumers who are eager for a new shopping experience. This is our platform. As you can see here below, we have the re-earner price with a 20% discount in the buy now button. And if you want to enter the auction, you can have a 50% discount, more or less, with the time here. And if you want to follow the auction, you can press without bidding. These are our revenue streams. First of all, we have the buy and sell, buy and consign overstocks. We are only paying up to 30% of the original price to get a 10%, 100% profit. The other revenue stream is the commission fee. We are going to ask for 10% of commission per transaction, and this is lower than the average. And afterwards, we are going to ask for a subscription, which will be $6.99 monthly to offer the people to buy at the current bid price. This is the benchmarking. As you can see, we are in the pure player marketplace. We have auctions and we combine B2C and B2B. This is the market share in Peru. 9.3 billion were the total sales in Peru in 2021, and we are going to grab only the 0.08%, which means annual sales $7 million and $440,000, and which it's more or less 150,000 products with annual revenue of $744,000. This is our team. I am the CEO and founder. I am former entrepreneur in residence at Rocket Internet, founder of and CEO of Cruz Apparel. And Carla is the product manager, Jose is the product manager, and Eduardo in sales. We are looking for funding to reach almost 150,000 transactions with commission fees. We are asking for $750,000 for 5% of Plazabid.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Paulo. I think Eduardo dropped off, but if I see him come back, oh, here he is. Let's see if we can add. It says device not connected, so I can't add him right now. So let me just ask you a couple questions,
Okay.
Paulo. So you're launching initially in Peru, right? Because you're in Lima. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then do you have plans to roll this out to additional countries, or tell us about your kind of your scaling plans?
First, we are going to focus on Lima. Afterwards, we are going to go around Lima, and then we want to meet all Latin America.
Terrific. And do you have brands signed up already to list
Yes,
products?
we already have 6 partnerships that are giving us their overstock. And also we combine that with putting a consignment in our website. So we only put a photo and then we offer the product and we get a commission fee.
Perfect. All right, Paulo, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. See you.
Okay, so next up we have the folks at Group. So let's get them up on stage here. Rodrigo and Daniel. How are you guys this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you, Brett?
Excellent. So, group buying has been around for a while. I have a friend who lives in a very small town on the east side of the Sierra Nevada in California, and the nearest big store is an hour drive away, and so everybody in the community kind of puts in their orders whenever somebody is driving to the big store. So that's a version of group buying. Rodrigo, tell us about your version of group buying.
Well, thank you very much, Brett. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the time. My name is Rodrigo Saavedra and Daniel Gil, who's also on the call. So today I wanted to talk about a platform that we created in order to solve a problem that I personally had, and that I'm sure that other 92 million internet users in Mexico face it as well. And this is the rising prices on everyday goods. So several months ago, I needed to buy a computer. And after doing my research, I found out that they were either too expensive or they were trash quality. So on top of that, you couldn't really find great deals on latest models. If you wanted deals, you had to go back to really old models, and you couldn't really find anything in between 15 to 30% off, which actually are the discounts that we're offering in the platform. So you should go download it. But anyways, back to the story. I was not alone. I had a couple more friends who needed to change their laptops. So we decided to team up and purchase the same item. And by doing this, we could have more leverage and more purchasing power with the retailer. And as Brett mentioned, well, this is group buying. And actually, Group is the first one who is offering this in Mexico. So we're focusing on two main features. The first one, of course, is a group buying feature, which are 24-hour time limit groups in order to unlock discounts for the products. And the second one are the gamification features in order to increase the platform usage. As for the market, as you may know, Mexico is one of LATAM's largest markets. We accumulate $16 billion a year in retail e-commerce, and we actually have the 8th highest smartphone penetration worldwide. Amazing, right? So after we talked with several e-commerce sellers, we realized that they are paying up to 25% take rates to companies such as Amazon and Mercado Libre. And this was the moment that we decided to go ahead and launch Group. So we are only going to charge a 10% take rate, and we are eventually going to charge ad revenue, and we're also planning on subscriptions and warehousing fees. So this Group is a combination of savings plus entertainment, and it is very interesting for both the seller and the user. For the seller, it is very interesting because, as I already mentioned, we charge a low take rate, but we're also increasing their sales volume. And for the users, we are creating communities of people who have the same interests and they want to buy high quality products for great value for money. As for the team, as I mentioned, we're currently 4 people. We are 3 co-founders and Javi, who is in charge of the operations. Jointly, we have more than 20 years in the startup environment and startup experience. We have more than 6 years in finance and venture capital and 3 years in operations and management. Right now, we have just launched our MVP. We bootstrapped the MVP, and now we are raising a pre-seed round of $1 million, of which 750K have already been committed. we are using this money for the team growth, but also to integrate all these gamification features that I mentioned. We want to develop this new app, launch it, and by doing this, we will reach the next milestone, which is to get 100K users. The sooner the better. So thank you very much for the time. Happy to answer any questions you have, and if you know anyone who has a little extra cash, please let them know about Group, because it's the next best Mexican opportunity. Thank you very much.
The next best Mexican opportunity. I love that. Thank you, Rodrigo. So,
thank you, Brett.
Yeah, so it's part of what's interesting to me, as somebody who works for startups around the world, is that each country or even each region has kind of cultural differences, right? And so, there are some things that might work in the U.S. that don't work in China, or some things that work in China that don't work in Ecuador, right? And I know that group buying is super big in China right now. That it's a huge success in China. So what is it about kind of that you decided would transfer well to Mexico?
Yes, definitely. Actually, as you mentioned, group buying in China is humongous. I mean, it's one of the largest e-commerces in a company called Pinduoduo.
Right.
But we figured out that it's a very interesting thing to bring to Mexico, because here in Mexico, the market is what we call deal hunters.
They are
trying to save as much as possible in every single purchase they do. So no matter what the socioeconomic segment, they try to save as much money as possible.
Right. And then we have a quick technical question coming in, which is this web and mobile, or just mobile, or tell us about that?
We decided to go mobile first.
Okay.
So we've already launched on iOS and Android. But we're also planning on launching on web, because several things that need to be considered, but we think it's a good idea to also have the web version.
Awesome. Thank you, Rodrigo. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Brett.
Okay, so next up we have Elvira and Andre. Let me see. Is Andre here? Elvira? I don't see him. Is he going to join?
I guess. Morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning, Elvira. So when I first talked to Elvira and her co-founder Andre, about their startup, them. My wife's a vegetarian, and 3 of our daughters are vegetarian, and so kind of I know that trying to lead a vegetarian or vegan lifestyle is, it's not easy in terms of shopping, right? But here, of course, we have Whole Foods. I mean, I've got a Whole Foods, 10 minutes away, where we can get all the vegan and vegetarian products we want. But Elvira and Andre are in Ukraine, where there is not a Whole Foods. And so when they told me about how they were launching a marketplace for vegan and vegetarian and sustainable products, first in Ukraine and then across Europe, I thought to myself, this could be a winner. So Elvira, tell us more.
Yeah, thank you. So VIM is about vegan, vegetarian, ethical marketplace. Over a decade, I've become a vegan, and I discovered that it's not easy to pull all my new ration in one grocery store, even if it's online or offline. And it's still time consuming and pricey at my area, and there is something missing all the time. So our research says that over 79 million of people considering themselves as vegans experiencing the same issue. And our potential market of flexitarians, there's those who wants to try plant-based diet but don't know what to start with, is like 42% of the global customers. So the solution is like to collect and all eco-friendly products and services are placed at one platform with easy access to a wide audience with minimum supply chain straight from production to consumption. So we are launching a brand new platform to promote healthy and happy lifestyle with our three key customer segments. We are uniting people for a new community. So the video streams is like a new tool for sellers. For example, if you are a farmer and you want to promote your organic products, so you want to know more about how it was produced. Was it made with love? As for the experts, they're sharing their expert opinion, knowledge, providing services for reward, and reach wider audience for sellers. So the buyers benefit from this communication, accessing the best deals in a fun manner, because most of us are already used to short videos to get information. And all sellers and buyers and experts, all users can create content. If, for example, do you have food preferences or nutrition recommendations? For example, for diabetic, the BAM assistant won't show you snacks or fast carbs in the first place, because it will incline you to enrich your diet with healthier choices. So the platform can be customized and up to your interest, whether you want to save your favorite foods from different producers, whether you want to enroll for a yoga class or start a business to sell, for example, your lemonade to your neighborhood, or you want to become an expert, or you want to subscribe for recipes or health recommendations, and many more. As this industry is very fast growing, we see the BAM is as a global platform to create agro hubs, to support sustainable businesses, and to help people to become more happy and healthier. The income from this platform will be generated from deals, fee up to 10%, depend on the product or service, promotional fee, and the subscription for those who wants to know more and to customize their platform. We believe that you are what you eat, and we want this platform to educate and to learn people with eco-friendly lifestyle so we can change the world together. And if you want to be part of this ethical consensus, stay connected. And I leave the context below. Namaste. And I just want to add that the biggest challenge that we can expect is like to how to change the regular customers' behavior to make the better choice.
Excellent. Nice job, Elvira. So, I hate to ask you a non-business question, but I think for a lot of the people in our audience this morning, they're kind of wondering. So you're in Kiev, Ukraine right now, right?
Yes.
And I think a lot of people in our audience are wondering, how is it there? And also, I know there's a lot of tech startups in Ukraine. So how is it for the tech startup community in Ukraine right now?
I mean, everything is working, and you can't book a seat in a cafe. And I couldn't find my favorite vegan burgers at the moment, so we have to speed up.
So your biggest complaint is you can't find your favorite vegan burgers.
Yeah, we need to speed up.
But in general, in Kiev, are things feeling semi-normal at this point, or how are things?
Yeah, it's fine.
That's fine, great. And you think, as I said, I'm aware of the fact that there's a pretty good tech ecosystem, startup ecosystem in Ukraine, and so you think that ecosystem will survive and come back and thrive?
Yeah, definitely it will survive, and it will become more powerful.
Yeah.
But we also expect that our market can be Ukraine and Poland, because
Right.
this is like more popular at the moment to become a vegan there, and to go to European Union at the moment. But still, Ukraine is like the root.
Right. Yeah, you've got Poland right there, and you've also got Germany right there. And I know that Germany is a pretty big vegan and vegetarian market as well. Correct?
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So I think one of the things I'm excited about with your venture is that once you get traction in Ukraine, it's pretty easy for you to roll out to the adjacent countries. And many of those adjacent countries are, very large, eager markets for this kind of a platform. So, congrats on everything, Elvira,
Thank you.
And we look forward to Ukrainian startups thriving everywhere.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we've now completed the first half of today's presentations, and so Rob, how was your coffee?
It was excellent. Thank you for the coffee break.
So, Rob, we just saw 5 digital marketplaces across several different sectors and several different geographies. And what they all have in common is that they are digital platforms for bringing together buyers and sellers. And I think it's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the exciting things about digital marketplaces is that they're literally transforming industries and bringing those parties together in fundamentally new ways and adding value. So it's great to see some of the latest examples of that.
All right. So speaking of latest examples, Krishna is here. Morning, Krishna.
Good morning. Good morning, Brett.
I'm gonna take myself off screen, and I'm gonna let Rob run things for starting with you, and then 4 more after you, Krishna. So, Rob, over to you.
Very good. Thanks, Brett. It seems like almost every week we're hearing some news item about a data breach or something going on with our personal data or some new regulation on how to manage, corporate or e-commerce data. And Krishna has started a company that's tackling that problem, tackling the data privacy and security problem, but also making it easier for companies to manage their data and do so in a way that works for their consumers' privacy concerns. So with that, Krishna, go ahead and take it away.
Hi, Rob. Thank you. Hi, all. Good morning. How are you all? Thank you for joining us today. I'm Krishna Katagida, co-founder of Daxcellence, on a mission to empower excellence with data. Companies are spending millions of dollars to protect their customer privacy. With all the buzz around privacy, I started requesting my data from companies. Here's my journey getting data from Amazon. After requesting my data, Amazon sent me an email, and when I clicked on that email, they asked me to download 139 zip files. And when I extracted those zip files, I ended up with 2,500 machine-readable text files. After a long, painstaking process, I realized that I didn't get much value from this data, except for a few surprises. Then how much money are companies spending to provide all this data when there's no clear value to the customer? Companies in the US are spending close to $1,700 per person annually to protect their privacy and security. Why are companies spending millions? New and evolving privacy regulations are the source of the rising cost of compliance. As of March of 2022, 4 states have passed the privacy regulations, and 20 plus states are working on it. From the data journey, we can see that the farther the customer data travels, the greater the risk, not just to customers, but also to enterprises. With the above pain points, we realize that there is a need for a platform that can de-risk privacy and security, reduce cost overhead, and gain consumer trust. From the high-level view of the platform, Daxcellence sits between customers and companies. Personally identifiable information is never stored by companies. However, they would still be able to target their customers through Daxcellence without compromising privacy and security. Daxcellence is the privacy and security de-risking platform similar to Octave for authentication and TokenX for credit card tokenization. From the survey we ran, 74% of the people found the problem and solution to be relevant, useful, unique, and are willing to pay. So how big is this market? It's a $300 billion market. Looking at the market landscape, the current approach is either layered or siloed point solutions. The alternatives are do nothing or no customer data. There's a better way, the Daxcellence way, with 1, zero privacy liability, 2, zero security risk, 3, uncompromised value without compromising privacy and security. So who is building the platform? A great team with experience in the data and software space is taking on the challenge. Thank you again for your time. We're looking forward to sharing more about Daxlins. Open to your questions or comments. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you, Krishna. One thing I should, building on our global theme, Krishna joins us from Dublin. No, that's not Dublin, Ireland. It's Dublin, California. So thank you for joining from Dublin, California. You mentioned that when you accessed the Amazon data, you had some surprises in one of the files. Could you maybe elaborate on what those surprises were?
Yeah, one of the common surprise was, like, we all know that companies are selling data, and out of 2,500 files, there was one file I found where that had all the data that Amazon collected and the brands that purchased my data. That included one of the car company that I'm currently using.
Yeah, that's amazing, and amazing the amount of effort you had to go to find that information.
Yeah.
You maybe talk about, on the enterprise side, what would you say is like the ideal enterprise customer for you at this time?
So any company that has customers with a digital presence is our customers. But initially, we are focusing on enterprises and the mid-market in e-commerce space.
Fantastic. Well, Krishna, thank you for joining us today. We're looking forward to seeing the progress you're going to make in helping solve the data privacy problem. So thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so next up, we're now going to be shifting and moving to the European continent. And for a moment here, we'll have Elena. There we go. Elena joins us. This is our second Ukrainian-based marketplace, although Elena is joining us from Spain. And over the past few weeks, I've been preparing for a vacation for the summer. I've been scouring websites to find information and always trying to find kind of some unique experiences, local color, ways to really find what's really unique about the places I'll be visiting. And OK Town is a service that's looking to do just that, to help travelers get a better traveling experience and helping people find sort of local activities and events and so forth. So Elena, take it away.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Elena Kasia. I'm a founder of OK Town Startup. I am from Ukraine, but I have traveled more than 20 countries all over Europe. And in Europe, I actually faced a problem of uncomfortable search for finding outdoor activities and local tourism, and not just me. So we serve the group of travelers. 80% of travelers travel around Europe every year, and 52% of them are actually facing a problem. So based on this, we see an opportunity to increase a demand on 62%. So OK Town is the easiest way to find and book an activity, a local activity, instead of traveling so far. So this is something what our competitors do not offer. Lots of functions made on geolocation and artificial intelligence engine, and flexibility for both parties. So let me show you how it works. People are neighbors in one city. Their hobbies are based on their location. We call those people locals. Local have local businesses. On a weekend, they go to jet ski, they take their kids to outdoors, but how to find those right services if you're not local? So OK Town AI will help you to find exact what you're looking for based on your location and customization. Same for the business. We provide AI for customization to bring the right client to your business. So the system immediately offers the closest, the nearest activity by geolocation and AI selection. So people travel all over Europe so many times. 3 million nights was spent in Spain for 1 year. So 1 of 10 businesses are actually in the tourism industry, and it is 200 million businesses in the tourism-related activities. For the first month of traction, we processed 20 sales and registered 75 services. 90 businesses also was registered with us. So there are many online services in this marketplace, but they do not target local tourism as we do. We also have an extreme focus for customer experience, websites, and tour operators are actually our partners. Since our marketplace operates on a B2B business model, we have two monetization strategies. The first one is a percentage of the sale through our marketplace, and the second one is a sale advertisement. So in a 4 months from now, we are launching the API for mobile version for wider assortment and simplify integration with the large operators. So our team consists of professional experienced and IT group. And that's it. Okay, town, what is happening locally today? Here's my contact. I'm ready for your questions and ready to answer. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Elena. I think I need an app like that for my trip this summer. So you're starting in Ukraine, but can you talk about, do you see yourself service expanding to other parts of Europe?
Yes, we actually launching in Ukraine. Mostly we focus on the west part for now, but then we will see what's going to happen. But we actually looking forward to launch right after we're testing in Ukraine. We're launching in Romania and the closest countries like Poland, Slovakia. So
Fantastic. And one of the things you mentioned is about the local vendors, and how this is an opportunity for them to get exposure. Do many of those vendors for the services have websites today? Kind of what's in it for them in working with OKTown?
Well, as we did the survey, we see a lot that the businesses that are actually don't have websites. Not all of them. The most of the entrepreneurs are actually launching through the social medias and all of those tools. So this would be a great perspective to them use a real marketplace to launch their business through us.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Elena, for the overview of your marketplace business. Best of luck, and thanks again for joining us today. All right, so our next marketplace, we're now going to be continuing around the globe. Keshyap joins us and they're a dual located business, both in Mumbai, India, and New York City. And I think the interesting thing about, I've had a chance to work with Keshyap for a bit of time now, and I didn't realize the diversity of options for buying diamonds. It's been a little while since I personally have been in the market for buying diamonds, but it's a really fascinating market, really good example of both, a market that has a certain amount of fragmentation and also B2B markets, which I always like in terms of just managing the complexities of buying and selling in a B2B environment. So with that, Keshyap, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. Hi, I'm Kashyap Mehta, and I'm the CEO of Liquid Diamonds, a B2B online exchange for certified diamonds, or think NASDAQ for diamonds. Now, if you look at diamond trading, it has largely remained unchanged over the last 50 years. In fact, if you look at the picture on the right side, it might look like it's taken decades ago. But guess what? It's a picture of the Israel Diamond Exchange from just 3 years ago. Due to a lack of trust, diamond buyers only buy from 6 or 7 handful suppliers that they have built relationships with over the years. And then they pick up the phone and haggle with them on prices. The solution to the inefficiencies in the diamond market is to build a B2B online exchange. And that is exactly what we're doing. We allow wholesale buyers to buy from hundreds of suppliers without compromising on trust by providing an escrow service. They get the best prices without having to haggle over the phone because we're using our patented double auction technology that brings price discovery and liquidity to diamonds for the first time. Now, my family has been in the diamond business for generations, and my father was the chairman of the Apex Trade Body in India. With our deep connections in the diamond industry, we have already solved a large part of the supply side. We have over 100 suppliers listing over 400,000 diamonds. It's over $1.6 billion in value, and it constitutes 29% of the global diamond supply. And we're now focused on building the demand side. We launched a proof of concept with wholesalers based in New York City with contracts to supply to retailers such as Costco. And we're now clocking over $1 million in monthly GMV. The addressable market for certified diamonds is over $50 billion globally. And currently, we're focused on the US market, which is a $23 billion market. But guess what? That's not all. Once we achieve price discovery and liquidity in diamonds, it will enable financial investors to invest in diamonds as an alternative asset class for the first time via financial products such as ETFs, futures, and options. And we're doing this by combining our deep connections in the diamond industry with our technology backgrounds. My co-founder is from IIT Kanpur, and I have experience running an ERP solutions company with over 150 clients. We have worked together for over 8 years, and we have 6 team members with a combination of diamond and engineering backgrounds. We are fundraising currently, and we have already banked $1 million from the New York Angels, Unpopular Ventures, and Techstars. And this includes key investors that have headed commodity exchanges and bond exchanges. Come help us change the diamond world. Come help us create a NASDAQ for diamonds. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Kashyap. So I had a question about some of the buyers. You talked about the Costco example, but can you give an example of the types of diamond buyers that would be particularly interested in using your service?
So currently, it's diamond wholesalers that have contracts with such large retailers such as Costco, but it could also be large retailers that have 50, 100, 200 stores. Anyone who has, wants to buy multiple of the same type, right? So the order that we get, it's like, it says, I want 500 of these and over a period of a month, and I want to do this every single month. And our platform basically sends the bid out to all suppliers in the market, makes them compete with each other so that you get the best price as a buyer.
Yeah, and I think that's the insight that I saw, is that some buyers have specific quantity requirements that one or their existing, 7 suppliers can't supply on a reliable basis. And this opens up the market so that those buyers who have those requirements can tap in, to a larger pool of supply.
Absolutely.
And can your marketplace be applied to other gemstones beyond diamonds?
Yeah, I guess it can be, as long as they're certified gemstones. But that said, honestly, the diamond market is so large that we're focused on the certified diamond space for now.
Yeah, I think this conversation has given me some ideas about my next purchase of some diamonds or gemstones. So, Kashyap, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on the progress you've made so far, and looking forward to see your progress.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, so now continuing around the globe. Now we're going to be going to Medellin, Colombia. Alex joins us from Tipsy, and I think the thing that with the rise of social media, with TikTok and other sites like that, the term influencer has become more commonplace. I don't think I really fully knew that term until a couple of years ago. We obviously knew about individuals who endorsed brands, but just this whole community of individuals who have influence on e-commerce purchases and society in a more broad sense. And what Tipsy is doing is very interesting on combining video commerce and the community of influencers to help brands better promote their products. So with that, Alex, take away. Tell us about Tipsy.
Thanks a lot for the introduction, Rob. Okay, so my name is Alexander Incopie, and I'm currently working on Tipsy. Tipsy is a platform which mixes physical and digital experiences of shopping into a single shopping top online experiences using video. So basically this idea came up during 2021 as people weren't able to actually go out and buy on brick and mortar stores, and most of them were rushing to buy online. But still, even though e-commerces were having a lot of visitors, their key metrics like retention, conversion, and satisfaction rates were dropping down because people weren't having enough trust in the shopping process, and also because most of their websites didn't have enough information. So people weren't able to actually make a smart purchase decision. How do we solve that? How do we deliver more information, build trust, and drive more sales? By using video instead of photos and text. And that's because, putting a face in front of your customers works even online, and people are more likely to buy after watching a video. That's why we created Tipsy. Tipsy allows any single merchant to integrate interactive shoppable videos on their stores, which they can create on their own or with our influencers. And this boosts those key metrics on their e-commerce stores. Also, they can generate live shopping events which allow them to connect directly with their customers and generate a more engaging shopping experience for them. We have 100 influencers who are ready to collaborate with the merchants in the creation of this kind of shoppable content. Where we are now, we have already developed a software plugin that allows merchants to integrate the videos on their stores, also a control panel where they can administrate their content, and mobile apps that they can use to upload the content to the platform and their websites. We started our beta in April, and since then, we have achieved key milestones like $60,000 in sales so far. For the competitive landscape, there are several companies doing shoppable and live shopping videos experiences, also companies offering influencers, and most merchants are actually looking for this kind of experiences on the social media side. But we are the only platform in the market mixing all of that on a single platform. For our early market acquisition, we are focusing on getting the active merchants to collaborate with the existing influencers in the platform in the content creation. And those influencers are driving more customers to their e-commerce stores and making the service something mainstream in Latin America. We are going to use all of that content that is being uploaded on our platform to roll out or for already existing e-commerce video-based marketplace where people can buy through video instead of just through a photo and a description. For that, we are focusing on getting $250,000 on a pre-seed round, and we are going to use that money during the next 12 months to get our traction goals, which is at least 500 monthly subscribers and 400 unique events in the next 2 quarters, also reaching a product market fit in order to be able to expand to the next market, which will be Mexico for 2023. Our team is composed of Diego Gomez, our founder, who is the person with the most experience in the fashion and cosmetic industries in Colombia and a pioneer in e-commerce in this country. Myself, I have been able to work with the American and local markets, and we have already developed a team for the technology area and market and sales areas. If you have any other questions, would you like a follow-up or maybe learn more about how video shopping works in Latin America, you can contact us. This is our contact information. Thanks a lot.
Alex, thank you so much. Excellent overview. One thing, maybe you can elaborate a little bit further. What sort of incremental impact does video commerce have on sales and other sort of key website statistics?
We have noticed that, for example, when merchants are creating a live shopping event, people stay connected up to 16 to 17 minutes, which is 8 to 9 times more than the usual on an e-commerce store. Also, for the conversion rates, we have noticed that people are, for example, if you are usually having a conversion rate of 2%, you can make it go all the way up to 8 or even 10% by using video on your e-commerce store. Oh, yeah. And there's way less claims and people bring about the products because they didn't like it. They get it on video.
Yeah, it sounds like the best of both worlds. Let's talk about the influencer community. How do you attract the influencers and get them excited about partnering with you?
Well, most influencers actually love to try products from several brands, and most of them are in different niches, like, for example, fashion or cosmetics. So they like a lot the idea of being able to try different products and create content with it because they can use it for their own social media as well. And they are able to monetize that content on Tipsy. So it's very attractive for them, especially for nano, micro, and medium-sized influencers. It has been kind of easy to get them to join the platform.
That's fantastic. Well, Alex, again, congratulations on your progress so far. Looking forward to seeing continued success. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, we're in the home stretch, going a little bit further north now to Mexico and in the broader Latin America. And we're joined by Sergio and Jesus. They're going to talk to us about Rafiki. This is a classic example of entrepreneurs who saw an existing market that was ripe, that was an existing market that was inefficient, that was ripe for a digital marketplace solution. And so we're going to hear their story about building a raffles marketplace targeted for Mexico. Sergio, take it away.
Thank you so much, Rob. Thank you, everyone. Hello, everyone. So let me tell you very quickly about our story. Jesus, my partner, and I, we grew up in Mexico, and we witnessed firsthand how deeply rooted the culture of raffling is ingrained in Mexico and its tradition. As a matter of fact, it's been going on for over centuries. And whether it's for to pay medical expenses for a close relative, or to pay for the next trip for the team or the sports tournament or baseball tournament, or perhaps to simply make ends meet, the raffle has always been the preferred choice over the direct sale, and that's for two main reasons, Rob and everyone else. So it is because it generates more revenue than an actual direct sale, and it provides the individual the chance of winning something big by purchasing a ticket or two. That thrill is what catches. So when you think about it, it also engages all the community into helping out with this raffle itself. When you think about it, Mexico has had over centuries of crowdfunding in the form of raffles. So fast forward many years to now, to today, and of course the pandemic hit and impacted all of us in different ways. We were not excluded, of course, of that. And Jesus and I needed to come up with a way to generate income and to make ends meet. So, of course, we thought about possibly raffling some items, but we also wanted to generate a business. So that sense of entrepreneurship, along with raffles and our tradition in Mexico, helped us. And we must confess, after a few rounds of single malt Scotch whiskeys, we were inspired. We were inspired to come up with this business, this startup called Rafiki, and we took up the effort to research, and we identified a huge opportunity, really big opportunity, as you mentioned, Rob, of this informal market that is currently existent in digital platforms that are not adequate, such as Facebook or Instagram, or
Well, Rob, we're having some technical difficulty here.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get Sergio back to continue his story about Rafiki.
Well, let me just say I totally admire the fact that Sergio was aware of the fact that that his slides weren't showing, but he did not miss a beat. He was just telling his story, and I admire anybody who can do that. So, let's see, we got Jesus, the co-founder. Jesus, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine, and I'm sorry about the video problem.
Don't worry, I'm just looking for my deck, so maybe I can share too.
Sure, yeah, why don't we try that, see if that works.
Thank you. Just a second.
Sorry about this, folks. Sometimes technology is mysterious, and this is one of those times. But Jesus, as I was just saying a minute ago, I totally admire the fact that Sergio, your co-founder, was plowing ahead, even though we were having technical problems.
The show must go on, right?
The show must go on. Exactly right.
Just unloading the deck. It might be just a minute.
Okay, no problem. And I think Sergio will hopefully.
There it is.
There it is. Beautiful.
Thank you. So
okay,
Sergio just got to our story. As he said, we believe crowdfunding has been around Mexico for over centuries because we believe raffling is the ultimate form of crowdfunding. You know, we Mexicans tend to raffle when there is no other income stream. We are intuitive. We like to get this another way to sell, just because you might just get more income than rather directly selling. And on the other side, people that cannot afford an a rather expensive product, they might just purchase 1 out of 100 or 200 or maybe 50 tickets. So they just have 1 in 50 chances to get an item they, as I said, could not afford otherwise. So we came to this platform, both app-based, and web-based, where we kind of produce an eBay-like model. We have this marketplace. We think it's rather simple. We just create an option to register a user, both buyers and rafflers. You create your raffle with just this plus, like create an event option. You upload your pictures. You set the conditions for the raffle, like how many tickets, the price for each ticket, and the date to be held. When a certain threshold is met, the raffle is held no matter what. So on the appointed date, us Rafiki, as a third party to the raffle, we randomize objectively without corruption the winner, and we then validate the delivery so that the prize is actually delivered to the winner of the raffle in the appropriate manner. And once it is done, we release the funds to the raffle organizer. It is really simple. We believe we provide a new option for raffles. As we have said, there are lots of dozens here in Mexico. We like to raffle. There are professional raffles all over Mexico, and there are some other people that do it just in a random occasions. Sergio, there you are. You want to take over?
Yeah, absolutely. So then this is our concept, and I'm sure you already covered this, and I apologize it dropped all of a sudden, but this is a very clear concept, and the most important question truly for everyone watching and listening is, why is it better? Why is it better than the current informal market out there in digital platforms that is tremendous and huge? Well, precisely, it centralizes all these raffle steps, everything that has to do with the raffle ecosystem, and provides it structure. It resolves, therefore, the inefficiencies, as Rob correctly mentioned, of this informal market by providing software of raffle creation and management. And needless to say, it's the only of its kind currently in Mexico, and we are planning to expanding in the secondary stage to the Hispanic market, to the vast Hispanic market here in the United States, exploiting precisely and leveraging on that Mexican tradition that we have. We provide a secure payment platform, of course, to purchase tickets due to the skepticism that we all have in Mexico as online purchasing. We validate the prize delivery. We eliminate corruption by doing all these things. And lastly, but not least important, we expose all the raffle events to a much bigger buyer side in comparison to what would be just friends and family, perhaps, of that. So we are, obviously, this is our contact information. We would love to hear from you. Sit down and chat to answer some of your questions and go over coffee, perhaps. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sergio and Jesus, and thank you for rolling with the technical issues. I think it came across just great. I love your founding story. I love the inspiration that you guys had to start the business, or a few drinks. That always helps to kind of get the creative juices flowing. But one of the things I heard about and I liked about your story is actually the name Rafiki. Can you maybe just elaborate on how you came up with the name Rafiki for your business?
Sure, thank you, Raf. So first, Rafiki means friend in Swahili. So we aim to create a community of friends that organize raffles and buy raffle tickets. And second, Rafiki is rather close to raffle, and it, of course, to its Spanish translation, rifa. So we want people to think Rafiki when hearing rifas, and we want to think rifas when hearing Rafiki.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great sort of combination of both cultures and meanings in a memorable name. Your marketplace is focused on raffles for goods and services, but could it also be applied to like fundraising purposes and nonprofit situations?
That's a great question. So yes, certainly. It's currently focused on individuals, goods and services, but interestingly enough, Rob and everyone, we have found that a lot of organizations for decades have been precisely trying to raise funds for their purposes, for their goals. And to share a very quick anecdote with you, I'm based out of San Antonio right now. I recently met a gentleman out of a military nonprofit, precisely to help out its members. And he was very excited when I told him about Rafiki, because he told me, Sergio, this is what we need. We have been trying to raise funds for all our affiliates throughout all these years, and we do it in such a rudimentary and informal way, and it kind of, it's a little bit cumbersome. When can Rafiki come here to the United States and help us out? So can you imagine if we can work with all these nonprofits and organizations to help them out, make it seamless, and precisely to formalize in one central app, provide them all with the tools, it would be absolutely wonderful.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like there's a lot of opportunities to digitize the process of organizing and executing a raffle. So Sergio and Jesus, thank you again for joining us. Best of luck. And again, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Rob.
Okay, Rob, that's it. We're done.
Fantastic. 10 to 10. That's really exciting to see all the great stories. And again, all the different ways that these companies are solving real problems in the economy today is using the marketplace model. It's just super exciting to see.
Yeah. So if anybody in our audience wants more information about any of these startups, or more information about Fourthly, or more information about where to find great tacos, just send an email to ping@fourthly.com, and we'd be happy to hook you up. So, Rob, first of all, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure running this cohort with you. It's been fun.
Yeah, thank you as well. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I think we put together a good program, and you're looking forward to seeing the results of all the startup marketplaces gone through the program.
Yeah. So the name Fourthly, as you know, Rob, refers to the fact that the World Economic Forum says that we're now entering the fourth industrial revolution, and that the fourth industrial revolution is kind of different in a variety of ways from the previous three. And one of the salient ways that the fourth industrial revolution is different from any other moment in human history is that it's happening all over the world. It's not happening just in one place. For most of my career, it was all in Silicon Valley, right? If you wanted to have a tech startup, if you wanted to create innovation, you had to be in Silicon Valley. But today, it's happening all over the world in the fourth industrial revolution. And I think, Rob, the presenters that we saw here today illustrated that fact, that we had presenters today who were entrepreneurs in Lima, Peru, in Medellin, Colombia, in Mexico City, in Ukraine, in Dublin, California, entrepreneurs from all over the world. And I think they illustrate the fact that what's different right now from any other moment in the world's history is that entrepreneurship and innovation is happening all over the world. So thank you again, Rob, and thanks to all of our attendees for joining us this morning. Hope to have a chance to see you all soon.